2007 was easily one of the best years for gaming as a whole. Over the last 2 decades, sure, gaming has had some really great years, but there was something in particularly special about the year 2007. Probably had something to do with the fact that Xbox 360 had been out for a while, the Wii had been out for a while, and the PS3 had been out long enough where more and more people were getting the new generation of consoles and being introduced to some really awesome things that were on the newer hardware. My name's Elijah, and I'm here with Luke today, and today we're taking a look back at 2007 for gaming. Let's get into it. Gaming online was definitely one of the biggest things about this generation of hardware. Xbox Live had been killing it with its online communities, and PlayStation 3 was definitely quickly picking up the pace with their online services. Call of Duty 4 released in 2007, which brought the Call of Duty franchise to the modern era, but also completely revolutionized the way competitive multiplayer FPS games would be played. The gameplay was refined, but also really tactical, and really reinvigorated the entire Call of Duty franchise as a whole, making it one of the staples in go-to online games. And besides just the online that was in Call of Duty 4, the campaign was really fun as well. Valve was still developing games in 2007, and we saw the Orange Box release, which brought Half-Life, Portal, and Team Fortress 2 to the consoles. I remember playing Portal for the very first time, and it was a really interesting experience because it took me way longer than it probably should have to figure out how the portals worked. And I remember standing in a corner with a portal on each side, looking at myself, thinking that it was a different player, and not realizing it was just my own character. Yeah, I was a little bit slower than everyone else. BioShock also released in 2007, which was a completely different atmospheric game that was very narrative driven and really unique in its own way. But we also saw other games like Mass Effect that took on a larger scale RPG world that was science fiction, but narrative driven with your own choices along the way, which was really cool. And while during this time the Tony Hawk games were kind of the staple as far as skateboarding came, Skate came out, which definitely gave the Tony Hawk series a run for its money and really set the pace to make its own little franchise that was incredibly fun, especially with the sequels that came out down the road. In 2007, we also saw the launch of Assassin's Creed, which built this huge franchise upon it. It took a lot of elements from Ubisoft's Prince of Persia series, but definitely refined it and added a lot of stealth mechanics, which made this game its own thing. And while Guitar Hero had a lot of success in the previous year with both Guitar Hero and Guitar Hero 2, Rock Band came out, which completely changed the landscape of rhythm games. Rock Band took the guitars from the Guitar Hero franchise and also mixed it with a lot of the karaoke video games that were coming out a couple of years earlier, and added a new drum set feature which let you play in a real Rock Band type game, which was really unique, and a ton of people played this game, especially at like parties and stuff like that. And even though Guitar Hero 3 came out and just stuck to its regular guitar gameplay, it had a lot of really good songs in Guitar Hero 3, like Through the Fire and Flames, which is my anthem for everything in life. It's pretty hype, even though Rock Band had an amazing playlist too. Tomb Raider Anniversary also released in 2007, which was a remake of the first Tomb Raider game, and that was really cool because it introduced a new generation to the Tomb Raider series. And then we also saw Lego Star Wars, the complete saga, which was really fun. On the Xbox front alone, we saw a massive release with Halo 3, which was the reason a ton of people bought Xbox 360s in the first place. We had been waiting years to finally finish the fight in Halo, and Bungie really did deliver with Halo 3, and it was so much fun. The multiplayer was really great too. It changed a lot of things from Halo 2, and I guess that might have been a little jarring for the hardcore Halo 2 fans, but Halo 3 introduced a lot in its own right and really made the multiplayer its own, adding a ton of new weapons, new vehicles, and the maps were just absolutely gorgeous in this game, and some of the most beautiful maps to date in the Halo franchise. A lot of the later things that were added to this game over the years also really sparked new life into the Halo games, but the core base Halo 3 game was absolutely amazing. And it also was the year that Crackdown released, which was its own game in its own right, and we're still waiting for Crackdown 3. Shifting gears to Nintendo, Nintendo was absolutely crushing it in 2007.
My body is ready.
They had the Nintendo DS Lite that had just released, and that had a ton of people buying it. And the Nintendo Wii was really marketed as a new type of console that also was kind of like a toy at the same time. There was definitely this motion control novelty going on with the Wii that just made it absolutely explode. Like, everyone had a Wii. Not everyone played their Wiis after a year, but everyone had a Wii. This was the year that Super Mario Galaxy released, which did a lot of things different compared to like Super Mario 64 and Super Mario Sunshine, but in its own right, it really tried to refine a new style of gameplay, having the different planets and all the new power-ups and stuff that they put into this game, which was really cool, and the atmosphere and just the vibe that went with this game was really awesome. Metroid Prime 3 released also during this year, and it concluded the Metroid Prime trilogy. We're still waiting for Metroid Prime 4, which just got delayed or canceled / restarted. It's gonna come eventually, but it was really cool that they kind of took the elements that worked in the Metroid Prime games and they gave a really solid conclusion. And it was always cool to me how they took this 3D first-person shooter game and really took a lot of the elements from the original Metroid game and translated it into a 3D atmosphere. Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn also came out during this time. It wasn't as popular back then, but it actually was a really solid game. And we saw WarioWare Smooth Moves, which was really cool just because it had all these little micro games built into the game. And since you had the Wii controller and the nunchuck and the motion controls, it was really cool to have this new style of gameplay that hadn't been done before. We also saw the release of Wii Play, which was a lot like Wii Sports, but it just had different games, and a lot of people got it just because it came with like nunchucks and whatnot, and it was a fun time to play. Pokemon Diamond and Pearl came out on the DS, which was huge. 4th generation of Pokemon, the jump to the DS line of consoles, and I really just liked the Sinnoh region as a whole because it had the snow atmosphere and each town really had its own feel to it, where they started to really do that in 3rd generation, but in the 4th generation they really capitalized it, and I love the designs of the Pokemon in this game. This is also the first Pokemon game to have online play, which was big for me because I was able to go on these websites and add strangers to my Pokemon game, but it also got me into competitive Pokemon, which is its own completely detailed thing on its own. And I wasn't very good at it, but it was a lot of fun to voice chat on Pokemon and trash talk other people while you battled them. We also saw the release of Mario Strikers Charged, which wasn't as popular in America, but it was huge in Europe. And I remember actually renting this game and I had a pretty good time with it. And then we can't forget the best game that ever come out ever, Zoe 101 Field Trip Fiasco. Luke, why is this in the script?
Because it's super dank. Anyways, there's one category of games we haven't covered at all yet, and that's PC games. In 2007, the first Crysis game released, and I remember everybody was jizzing their pants about how awesome this game looks. And for years to come, PCs would be benchmarked by, can it run Crysis? And if it couldn't run Crysis, it's a shit computer. We had Team Fortress 2 that came out in 2007, and still to this day is one of the most popular online games on Steam that still has a great community in the year 2019. Also, the first Witcher game released, and it would take another 2 games before the Witcher series really got popular. Nonetheless, the first Witcher was still a really solid game, and it did introduce me and many other people to the franchise. Also in 2007, Windows Vista came out, and Microsoft tried to promote gaming on Windows, and they would release Halo 2 on the computer, which for me was one of the first games I would play at LAN parties and with my friends online on the computer. And now it's even rumored that the Master Chief Collection is gonna come to Windows 10. It would be so dope if they would bring the old Halo games to Windows. I wanna play Blood Gulch on computer again. But what's for sure is that Halo 6 is gonna come out on Windows 10, which is something we haven't seen since 2007. And you know, World of Warcraft Burning Crusade, the first World of Warcraft add-on, also came out in 2007. It was something refreshing and new since it wasn't just a DLC, it was a whole add-on that brought so much content. And I remember the hype was immense, and I went to a midnight launch party at some Best Buy store. And now that I said that out loud, it doesn't sound as cool as I thought it would. But it was hype. So why was 2007 such a good year for gaming? First of all, you had a lot of games that laid the foundation for franchises that were hugely popular in the following years. Like for example, we got games like Portal, Mario Galaxy, Mass Effect, or Modern Warfare, which all got sequels in the following years, and all these sequels were immensely popular. Like for example, Modern Warfare 3 is Call of Duty's most sold game, and Modern Warfare 2 probably had one of the strongest online communities of any Call of Duty game. And the foundation for this was laid with Modern Warfare 1 in 2007. Also, we had games from 2007 that were hugely popular, where we thought we would never see a sequel again, like Metroid Prime 3. And now, Metroid Prime 4 is gonna come out sometime in the future. And also, there's a ton of people still waiting for Half-Life 3, when Half-Life Episode 2 was the last Half-Life game we got. And then you had games like Tomb Raider, Assassin's Creed, World of Warcraft, or The Witcher in 2007, which would introduce a new generation of gamers to these types of games. And there's still a huge demand for all of these franchises, since they all got a sequel which also became hugely popular, like Witcher 3 was one of the most popular RPGs of all time. And again, all of it started out in 2007.
Okay, but that's all for today. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you guys hit the like button down below. Let us know in the comment section your memories from 2007, because I'm sure you have a lot of memories. We also can't forget Super Smash Bros. Brawl was around the corner. We were all checking Smash Bros. Dojo to find any information we could. And that was kind of cool for 2007 too. Alright guys, that's it for today. Be sure to subscribe to Rocket Sloth for more videos like this, and we'll catch you all next time with a brand new video.